is Dietland. Now, I'm guessing that the reason that this was chosen was that actually it features Juliana Margulies.
And Juliana Margulies. She's in the and role here.
Is she in the and role?
They get paid more for the and role, don't they?
Paid for the and.
What if you're the with?
Oh, the with gets a tiny bit more than the and, I believe.
Oh, yeah.
Would the and get more than the with?
But it depends who the with and the and are.
Well, yeah. Martin Sheen was always the with.
No, he was the and.
Yeah, no, he was the with.
No, he was the and.
I thought he was the with, but there you go.
The Americans is with Margot Martindale and Noah Emmerich, you see.
While you discuss this, Gary, you need to find out, Matt, whether Martin Sheen was the with or the and on the West Wing.
There's only a with if there's two big names in the show to end the thing.
Oh, that's a good point.
Because it wasn't like, say, like with Rob, because Rob Lowe was at the start. It would have been like with Rob Lowe and.
Yeah, no, you're right. That you could well be right. Dietland follows a lady called Plum. She is a large lady, and basically this appears to be most of the hook of the show. Is that she is a large lady? You're hearing the whole show through her point of view, through her voice, and it has got voiceovers, which I know Luke loves. Where you're following her throughout her life. She is the ghostwriter of an agony aunt stroke letters to the editor of a very sort of posh magazine, which is run and edited by Juliana Margulies.
Like a teen magazine, isn't it?
That's it. The letters that she receives from these people are a wide range of topics, from cutting to problems with makeup and problems with self-image and boys and things like that. But this lady Plum seems to have a real sort of problem with her own self-image. She goes to waist watchers, not Weight Watchers. Subtle difference. And she has some friends. She has a shopkeeper, a coffee shop keeper, who appears to be her friend, who she occasionally works for. She likes to bake, but has a problem with it because, of course, it feeds her encouragement to want to eat. And she starts the adventure quite dully, but then gets followed by this goth girl, Lita, this goth girl who turns up sort of looking like she's following her, and then appears not to be. Then she comes into the coffee shop and writes the word Dietland on her hand in a mascara.
And it is and Martin Sheen.
Ah, well done, thank you. Was it then with his wife when she joined?
No, I checked that, and Stockard Channing is at the.
Yeah, she's the only other big name in it, I suppose. Anyway, moving on. The thing that gets confusing about Dietland is the kind of subplots that are in the background. So at the beginning, she's watching the television and there's a report of these two veterans that are kidnapped. And throughout the episode, you see them being tortured and you get to see them being thrown off a moving vehicle. And it appears to be some sort of sort of side plot that doesn't really sort of fit in. But also throughout the episode, you see these kind of groups of people that are linked to something called Jennifer. They almost look like terrorists. They appear to be sort of meeting in a basement with lots of weapons. And it really is like little 10-second clips, so you really don't pay too much attention to it. At the end, she gets given this introduction to this area called the beauty parlour. Is it the beauty parlour?
No.
Beauty cupboard or something. And this is run by a brash southern woman who is a beauty and makeup artist and sort of challenges Plum really about the fact that she's hiding her light behind a bushel. You know, she's writing these letters and she's much more intelligent than Juliana Margulies' character. You know, she should be the one writing articles. And she sort of leads her down this path in this beauty parlour of explaining, look, you know, you are more beautiful. She puts lipstick on her and tries to sort of show her that she doesn't need all these fad diets and things like that. The Dietland link is it's a book which the goth girl leaves for her at some point. The whole thing is very bizarre. There's also something I sort of overlooked, really, which appears to be a bit of a hook, is the cartoon images, which is like her sort of seeing herself. And it's a cartoon version of Plum.
They do play with, like, the visuals, don't they, in these? Because myself and Luke have watched, like, the first two episodes that were sort of ran together when it aired on AMC in the States. It was sort of aired as one big sort of hour and 20 minutes or so episode.
Yeah, like a double sort of thing.
Like a double, yeah. But they do play with like the visual images and things like that. And there is sort of like a police investigation going on as well into the leaked information from the Daisy Chain magazine that Juliana Margulies is the editor of.
almost too much going on in one episode, and it almost seems to be sort of trying too hard to gain your interest. It felt to me very much like Desperate Housewives, and I think maybe that's because you had the voiceover, which you had in Desperate Housewives, and it was kind of female-centric led.
She's doing it from the future, the voiceover, isn't it? It's like, this is I was this person, now I'm something else, and I haven't lost weight, but something's happened to me, and this is why, this is what it is, this is what has happened.
Well, I struggled, to be honest. I watched 2 because I told Matt that it was a double bill, and I thought if he watches 2 and I don't, I'm going to be in trouble.
Yes.
So I watched 2, but it was a struggle. It wasn't an easy watch. I didn't feel particularly connected to anyone. You're right, exactly. I do struggle with voiceover, and I found this one particularly annoying because it was just used as, wait for it, something interesting's going to happen. But it hasn't happened yet, but just bear with me. It was almost as if she was saying, bear with me, we'll get there, and I always find that frustrating. I didn't believe in the world a lot, which meant that I spent a lot of the time looking at things that I shouldn't be focusing on, like how somebody with not a lot of money and sort of down on their luck was able to live in what I consider quite a smart, furniture-filled New York apartment that looked pristine and things, and you shouldn't be focusing on that. That should be literally in the background, but I sort of fixated on that. It sort of reminded me of the apartment in Friends, and once you start to question why a chef and God knows what Shannon does can afford that apartment, then you're not invested in the show. I was disappointed because Juliana Margulies normally chooses good roles, the good wife, but I'm sort of done with this already. I know I sort of judge things too quickly, but some things are for you.
We watched 2 episodes, to be fair. We gave this...
Yeah, true.
Yeah, I mean, it's 10 episodes, and we did watch 2, to be fair, so we've seen a fifth of the series. And
I love it when he does factions on the podcast.
And also, the fact that she's called Plum is very annoying.
Yeah.
Plum Kettle. Like, I found this a real struggle to get through and kept having to sort of get up and do other things. And as Luke said, I mean, you don't buy into the world, and there is like 2 or 3 shows going on at the same time. There's like the sort of murder mystery police investigation. There's this sort of story about a woman who's trying to lose weight, the self-image stuff. I would put an addendum that, we are 3 blokes, and I think this is very much a female-centric series because these fad diets that Plum has been on throughout the years are sort of targeted at women, so women know more about sort of doing this diet and then this diet and then this diet, nothing really working and having these issues. So there may be an audience that we are not a part of, but I just found it a little bit of a mess. The dialogue didn't work for me. The lead performance from Joy Nash was a bit sort of wet, really, a bit damp.
Note, wasn't it? Really?
Yeah, and there wasn't anyone really in the supporting cast. Juliana Margulies was in a different show to everyone else, as was Tamar.
She was in The Devil Wears Prada.
Yeah,
she was doing a parody of Glenn Close,
and then Meryl Streep.
Meryl Streep, thank you.
And Tamara Tooney, who manages the beauty closet, was in a different show as well. And you are right with the Desperate Housewives type comparisons because it is very sort of heightened and soapy, but at the same time, it's an AMC show, and they're normally sort of very gritty.
They've got their feet on the ground.
So it feels very confused, sort of tonally.
I have a feeling like we might like where it ends up, but I'm not sure if we're going to like the journey it goes on to get there. Yeah. There are bits of it that I thought were interesting, but not enough to keep me watching.
I have got a bit of an update, though. Season 7 of The West Wing was with Jimmy Smits and Martin Sheen.